We are Venom. Even me? Absolutely. What about me? Sure thing. And what about me? Yeah. And me? And me. Yeah. Come on, Lefty. It's just you and me as usual. Hello? Is anyone there? I was told there would be Venom.
Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation, where I review action figures and then articulate 5 points to help you decide if you want to add that figure to your collection. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and if you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube rigmarole. Today, we're going to look at the Hasbro PulseCon Venom from Spider-Man, the animated series. Starting off the packaging, and I am in love! Just this outer box is so cool! The black itself is a matte finish, but all the other things are spot varnished, so they really pop. Spot varnished Venom logo on the sides, legal on the bottom, and a really awesome picture of Venom on the back. Sliding him out of that box, we have an awesome tribute to the blister card of the 1990s animated series. Logo up top, same picture from the back of the box, but now in dazzling color. And did you ever notice that that's actually supposed to be a billboard? As we can see, Venom's a symbiote menace, and on the back we get the same picture, along with some instructions and a bio. Pause here if you want to read it. If you saw my previous video on this figure, you'd know that I thought this was a perfect use for the retro card, and seeing it in person, it does not disappoint. For packaging, I'm giving Venom 1 whole point. Moving on to presentation, and Venom stands at just under 7 inches. From the top, we have an all-new head sculpt. It does a perfect job of recreating the little eye dips that kind of makes it look like Venom has pupils, as well as his more pronounced lips and big goofy teeth. Obviously, he wouldn't be Venom if he wasn't waggling his tongue, and this one happens to be forked. The base body for this figure is Omega Red, which I think has great proportions for Venom. That said, there are a couple of holes up top, which I know that some fans are kind of distracted by, and I honestly can't blame them, but the main selling point is the cell shading. See what I did there? Just like on the cartoon, it looks like Venom is perpetually backlit with red and blue light, and while I don't normally like this, for this figure, I really love the effect. Because a character like Venom is mostly all black, a lot of times some of the details can kind of be lost, but the cell shading really helps to add depth. His Venom logo is really well painted. It's so thick that it actually adds a separate layer and almost looks like it's sculpted on. In fact, looking here, it appears to be some kind of overlay. And unlike the upcoming black costume Spider-Man, I'm really happy that Venom has an ab crunch. That way you can turn him at the waist and bend him over without breaking up this design. Moving on down, he's got some new veiny forearms and hands. Leastways, I think they're new. I'm not totally sure, but I am 100% certain that he's missing the white patches on the backs of his hands. Spinning him around, and there's not really a whole lot of cell shading back there, and I can definitely see how some collectors might not like how squished in this spider logo is, but just like the ab crunch, I'm happy that it accommodates the articulation without breaking up that design. It would have been so easy for Hasbro to just stuff any old Venom in a retro card and call it a day. Instead, they gave us a Venom on a body sculpt that we'd never gotten before, as well as a whole new head based on the animated series. And if all that wasn't enough, they went the extra mile to do cell shading, giving us a version of the character that we've never seen in action figure form. For presentation, I'm giving this Venom 1 whole point. Moving on to posability, and Venom's head's on a ball joint and a disc hinge. Looks up this much, that far down, no tilt, but all the way around. Swivel hinge shoulders raise up just over 90 degrees. Fantastic range for the butterfly joint. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Again, not a bad range for how bulky the arms are. And of course, he has swivel hinges for the wrists. Like I've already said, he has an ab crunch, arches back that far and hunches over that far. Swivel waist, ball jointed hips. Not the best range in the world, but not too shabby. Thigh cut, but do be warned, it does break up the cell shading. Double jointed knees. Again, for how bulky his legs are, that's really not bad. No boot cut, but his ankles hinge forward, hinge back, and pivot. This just might be my favorite body sculpt for Venom. He's sufficiently bulky without being too over the top, and with enough range to get into pretty much any pose I could possibly want. For posability, I'm giving Venom 1 whole point. Before we continue, if you like this video, do me a favor and give it a like. I put a lot of love in these videos, and your likes help more people to see them. Moving on to playability, and Venom comes with this alternate head with his tongue tucked in. He also comes with these fists. But playability is more than just accessories, it's also about how well your figure plays with others. For a Venom-specific comparison, here he is with a couple of figures from the original animated series line by Toy Biz, as well as a couple of the sillier ones. Here he is with Venom the Madness. Fun fact, this was the very first 6-inch scale Venom figure. Here he is with a couple from Spider-Man Classics, also by Toy Biz. Here he is with a Toy Biz Marvel Legend, and a Mac Gargan Venom by Hasbro. Unfortunately, I can't seem to find his tail. For a different kind of Venom comparison, here he is with Bane. This one comes from the Legends of the Dark Knight by Kenner. For a Marvel Select comparison, here he is with Original and Extra Crispy, and just for jollies, here he is with both versions of Venom the Madness. We are
are Venom. Huh? Not you.
He's a bit too stylized for your comic book shelf, but honestly, that's not what he was made for. He was made for your animated series retro collection, and he might just be the best one yet. For a relative scale comparison, here he is with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man, and of course, here he is with Stealth Iron Man. Wait, what? If you're looking for a good standard Venom for your collection, this is probably not the figure for you. But honestly, if that's what you're looking for, there are plenty of options out there. This Venom is a love letter to fans of the Spider-Man animated series, and with even more animated series style retro figures on the way, the fun has only just begun. An alternate Eddie Brock head would have been appreciated, but again, if you saw my previous video on this figure, you'd know that I predict we're going to see a re-release of this Venom with an Eddie Brock head and in solid black and white. As for this figure, for playability, I'm giving the PulseCon Venom 1 whole point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. This Venom was a PulseCon exclusive and retailed for $31.99. Considering that all he came with were a couple of extra hands, a head, and a slipcase, I do think that $32 is a little steep. Unfortunately, because it's an exclusive, it already sold out, and the aftermarket prices are anywhere from $80 to $100. I have heard that some people have seen them at GameStop, so don't lose hope, but also do try not to feed the scalpers. There's a ton of them on eBay, so eventually somebody's gotta go low. For price, I'm giving the PulseCon Venom half a point for a grand total of 4.5 out of 5. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Marvel Legends PulseCon Venom from Spider-Man the Animated Series. Sound off in the comments and tell me which characters from the animated series you'd like them to make. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.